Good evening and welcome. My name is Chef Kurt and I'm from Johannesburg, South Africa. Hi, let me tell you why I got inspired to be a chef. I was going to my grandmother's kitchen, tasting potatoes, nachos, bananas, and they got my taste buds rolling. And from there, I already knew what I wanted to do for my career, to become a chef. So guys, my culinary adventure started when I was 17. I started my first job at 17 in Cape Town in South Africa. I started with a Cuban restaurant, and from there I started learning flavors and combinations. From there I grew my career and moved forward into another restaurant called Yum up in Vredehuk in Cape Town. And there I met with one of my very first mentors, Mark Radney, and he had taught me kitchen design, kitchen layout, and also menu design. And this was a very important part to my first part of my culinary career. From there, I was moved into a huge hotel where I actually started to learn about mass production. And that for me was very interesting at that young age. And I had learned a lot. Going further in my career, I moved up and decided to start my own business. And from there, I learned the front and back of house operations, which was very interesting for me. And also the ins and outs of staff, ingredients, and the finer details of the financials. From there, I decided that I had enough of South Africa and decided to spread my wings and grow abroad. From there, I started my abroad experience in Seychelles, where I worked on an island called La Roche. It was a beautiful location surrounded by ocean water. It was a 7x4 kilometer island, and it was a great experience for me. There we had about 4 outlets, and I was second in charge. From there, I decided that I enjoyed islands and moved forward to go to the Maldives. Maldives, I joined a great resort called Kurumba, and I also was second in charge, running a 12-outlet brigade. I had about 60 chefs under me, and it was a great learning curve. So my career, from beginning to where it is now, I've been in different locations and learned a lot of different things. And now, this is where I am. In Fairview Hotel, Nairobi, Kenya. So guys, today we will be talking about how to plate the fine dining way. So from being a baby chef, these are the techniques and things that we will show you and showcase for you to kind of get you up to speed on how to plate the fine dining way. So today we'll be showcasing a seared scallop dish with a mango and lime gel with a bit of a pineapple crumble and a bit of pickled tomatoes and some garlic aioli. Our second course, we'll be doing an aged peppered beef filet that will go with a nice porcini creme sauce, a little bit of pickled mushrooms, some nice dried carrots, and nice crispy fried leeks. And then we'll move on to our final dish, which is our chocolate mousse dessert. And that will be showcased with my 2 chefs that I'll introduce you shortly. Thank you. Welcome back to the Chef's Platter. And let me introduce you to Chef Salim. He's the Executive Sous of Pango Fine Dining. So, like I said previously, we're going to start with the seared scallop dish, and we're going to show you how to plate the fine dining way. For those that are baby chefs, this is great techniques and great skills to show you what we can showcase for you. So, Salim, should we start?
Yeah. I believe this is a great opportunity for the upcoming chefs and the chefs who are in the training to learn how to plate in a fine dining restaurant. So we are going to start with the scallops. I'm going to start with a bit of olive oil on my pan, on my grill.
So here we have the scallops, nice and fresh. The reason why we put it on the paper kind of towel or a material is that we try and absorb most of the liquid off it. So when we do a nice perfect sear, they come out nice and golden. So, Salim, please. So with scallops, when you're cooking them, you don't need to cook them too long. So we will cook them about 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. Once they're done, we put it on a paper towel just to kind of get all the fat off it, and then we will start plating. So what we have here today is we've got our garlic aioli, and then we've got our mango and lime kind of gel that we've made and prepared already. Then on our next ingredients list, we've made a nice pineapple crumble. Basically just fresh pineapple, flour, a little bit of sugar, a hint of salt, and what else did you add in there?
Butter. A bit of butter.
So then he puts it in the oven, and then?
We put it in the oven at a temperature of 180 degrees for around 15 minutes. You are going to check at intervals of 5 minutes. You have to check it and have to crush it a bit so that the heat can go into the pineapple and it can have a bit of crispiness in it.
And the reason why we've got this is we want to add texture to our plate. So when you're doing fine dining, it's all about texture, flavor, color, you know, all those kind of varieties that you need. Now, when you're doing fine dining, don't get too complicated, guys. Think simple. The basic way is to start with 3 flavors. If you can establish 3 flavors for your plate, then you're on the right track. So for today, we have got more than 3. We've decided to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flavors, plus the scallops is 6. Salim, I think those are ready for a flip. So then we're moving on to the ingredients. We've just taken some apple crisps. So we just took a fresh apple, sliced it on the slicer, put it under the hot light, which you will have in every kitchen. And then we've just put some sugar on it and we let it slowly dry out. And then it becomes like a nice crisp apple, which is great for every kind of garnish that you can use on any kind of plate. Then we moved on and we made what we call blush tomatoes. If you don't know what a blush tomato is, it's all the small cocktail tomatoes. You get heirloom styles, different colors, but today we decided to go with the yellow because we want to bring some color to our plate. So, Salim, maybe just explain to them how you made your pickling for this.
Basically, the pickled tomatoes, you have to use garlic, vinegar, a bit of salt, sugar. You have to adjust the seasoning the way you like it, but it has to be tasty. You have to adjust it to become a little bit tasty. Then you have to add a little bit of yellow peppers to bring that flavor into the tomato.
Yeah, and it's a nice kind of contrast for the plate. It brings a nice pickle because we've got this sweet mango lime gel. We've got this nice tarty kind of aioli flavor that's coming through. So then what we did as well, because we believe that in every kitchen there should not be wastage. So we peeled the skins of the baby blush tomatoes and we also dried them out. So, and it's a great technique for your garnish as well. It just brings more contrast to your plate. So moving forward, you can also, in fine dining, express yourself with any kind of local supplier. Here we've got a local supplier in Kenya that supplied us with their homegrown edible flowers. So believe it or not, all these flowers can be eaten. And they also bring great color to your plate as well. As well as we call these baby microgreens. These are delicious. These ones are baby spinach micros. And they grow them like this and they just pick the smallest leaves for us. And you will see as we plate how much we put on the plate, because too much is too much, but we will see how it goes. Right, Salim, how are we doing? Are we ready to go?
We are almost ready. I'm just going to put a little bit of seasoning with sea salt. Sea salt combined with rosemary to give the flavor to the scallop. Just a little bit.
Well, I think while Salim is doing that, I'm going to move over this side and swap places with him and show you and talk to you about plates. So in Pango, we use our black plates. but there are vast varieties of plates. For us, we like the black plate because it can bring out the color in your dishes. So I will take this size plate for this starter because you want something smaller and not too big. Yes, you can use big plates, it's not a problem, but for me, this is how I feel and I feel comfortable. So just go with the feeling, and if you decide it's a small plate, nobody's going to judge you. So like I said, we've got our aioli and mango lime gel. So what we will do is we'll actually start off by doing our lime gel. So in every kitchen you can get a disposable piping bag. You make your gel, you put it in the piping bag, and then it's just easy to work with by making dots or squiggles, whatever you desire. When you're looking at plating, always look at it like an outside area, like an abstract area. Think of your garden, think of circles, think of squares. So be imaginative, okay? So we will keep it simple, and what I will do is I'll put my first dot here, a nice little big one, then you'll lift it up, and then you will go with a kind of medium-sized one, and then you will go with a kind of smallish one, and then you will go with a little tiny dot, and then you just end it off with a dot, right? So there we go. Very simple, very easy. So Salim, what do you want to put on this plate next? Would you like to put the crumble on?
Crumble with the pineapple.
Sure. So Salim will now put the crumble on. Now, the reason why we made the crumble is we were thinking when we designed this recipe like a bird's nest. So we want the scallop to sit on something that's nice and crunchy and flavorsome. So please proceed. See, he decides wherever he wants to put it. He's not really particular where he wants to put it. If he decides to put it there, feel free, guys. Don't feel like you're restricted to plate in a soldier way. Feel creative, feel innovative. So basically, as you can see, 2 crumbled parts pineapple, our nice dotted gel. So already the plate is coming together. All right. So we will move that out. I think let's bring in our blush tomatoes. So basically, we will take our blush tomatoes. Normally, you can cut them, but we will put them on whole this time. Okay? So you can put one here. And for this piece, I think I'll only use 2. And you can put one there. All right? Then, to get into it and get more kind of color, because now you see everything is kind of yellow, but we're okay, because why? We've got these beautiful colors next to us. So I think we will use a little bit of orange, because with edible flowers, what's fantastic is that they come in different colors. So you can lift your plate by adding these colors. So I think for myself, purple, and maybe a nice maroon color. I think those will be great for this, right? So just to move along, normally you can put this on the scallop, but what we want to do is kind of, because we want our leaves to stick to the corners and bring kind of contrast to our plate, we will pipe a small kind of piece over here, just under that one, put another one over here. The reason for that is just to stick them on and kind of give it some texture. So you can pick your flowers. So I'll use 2 in this showcase here of that, and then here is 2 of these. So for me, I'll just pick the stems off. You can eat the stems, that's no problem. It's just the way I would like it. So I put one over here, one over there, and then these 2 I will leave for our scallops. Now, we've got our tomatoes that we're explaining, the skins. You can add that as well. Here we use a tweezer. It's a lot easier to work with, just for the finer detail. And you can pop those just behind your flowers. give height. You can add as many as you like. And like I said, we added the garlic aioli on the plate, but now we will also put some on top just to bring kind of more flavor to the scallop. So if you would like to put the aioli on the scallops.
I believe chef, this is one of the best combinations because I've tried the dish. It's one of the best combinations I've ever tasted. The marriage is there between the mango lime gel, the aioli, the crumble, the blushed tomatoes. It's really, the marriage is really there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is one of our best dishes that we've made so far since I've been here, you know.
Yeah.
So guys, you've noticed that we messed on our plate. Don't panic. We've got cloths here. So we're always well prepared and we will never send our plates out with that mess. So Salim will just kindly wipe it for us and we will continue. So as I was saying about edible flowers, we've got some left here. So just to lift your plate, because you see we've got a lot of orange, a lot of purple, a lot of yellow. So this will end it off just by flipping it upside down. And there you can see, guys, this is for the youngsters out there that are trying to learn how to plate better. Be creative, be innovative. Don't be scared to try new things all the time. As I explained to my team here, we always look at better ways to plate our food. And remember, it doesn't need to be just on a black plate. It can be white plate, mirror plates, gold plates, whatever plate you desire, or whatever plate is in your restaurant. Use it, utilize it. So guys, this is our seared scallop on pineapple crumble with a mango lime, blushed tomatoes with our skin of tomato and a few of our edible flowers. So guys, we're moving on to our next dish now. So like I said before, we're going to be doing a peppered aged beef fillet with a nice spiced carrot mash. We've got nice crispy leeks that we kind of cooked earlier on. We've got potato, which we will kind of fondant. Then we've got a nice dry mushroom powder, which we will coat our fondants once they are done. We've just taken some carrots and made a nice crispy carrot for extra garnish and texture. And we've kept our pickling from our previous one because we'll show you what you can do to try and utilize the same ingredients into another dish, which makes it much more fun. So Salim, I reckon let's sear off our beef and then proceed with the other things. So Salim is going to sear off the beef and I will get the fondant butter going. So basically all you need to start with your fondant is you need some butter, some nice fresh pieces of rosemary, and a bit of garlic just to kind of bring more flavor into that fondant potato. While that's going as well, I'll get some mushrooms going. So all we did was we've taken some button mushrooms, chopped them up just in quarters, and we put them in our pan. We've got a bit of olive oil and some garlic just to bring some flavor. Right, so we'll get our induction going.
If I can say something, chef,
Yeah.
in a kitchen, you have to multitask. You can see what the chef is doing. He's doing the sauce, he's doing the mushroom, he's doing the fondant, and also the beef is going on. So you have to multitask.
Definitely, Salim. Because it can get very busy in the kitchen, guys. So always try and multitask. Make sure all your mise en place is done. Like from my past chefs, what they used to tell me is if you're prepped and ready, you can take on 100 people. So what I'll do is I'll add my square pieces of potato into the butter mixture. So we'll just kind of slow cook them because we don't want them overcooked, and just get them kind of nice and caramelized. Over here I've got my sauce that we made earlier on. So basically So Lim, maybe you want to tell them what you did with your sauce?
One thing about the porcini mushrooms, you have to soak them so that you can get the flavor out of the mushroom. So we have to soak the mushroom with a little bit of white wine and a little bit of port wine so that you can get the flavor out of the mushroom. And then after that, for around 4 hours, after soaking the mushrooms, you add the brown sauce. And then a bit of cream, and you let it boil. And blend it, you get a fine mixture of the porcini. Then you can adjust the seasoning accordingly.
Yeah, that's great. So basically our sauce is nice and hot and ready. You just want a nice consistency in your sauce. You want it to flow just evenly. And you got yourself a great consistency here. So this sauce is nice and ready. I'll just put it to the side while we are processing our fondants. Our mushrooms are almost ready for the pickle. So what we're going to do is when we start plating, we will start with our porcini creme sauce. I'll show you a technique with a spoon that any of you can do at home, and it's very easy to do what we call a swish, as you say. So mushrooms are almost ready. I'm just going to saute them for another minute, and then I will put them in our pickling liquid that Chef Salim told you earlier on how to make. And we will just leave them in there to soak until we're ready to plate them. And they'll be kind of semi-pickled, but not too harshly pickled. So Salim will now pop this in the oven just for a few minutes because we want to kind of have it medium. We don't want blood on our plate. So he will cook it medium, and then we will slice it in half and then show you how to plate it. If you can, Salim. So as you can see here, our fondants are now sizzling and getting nice and caramelized. You get the rosemary in there just to get the flavor going into these potatoes. Just a very, very simple recipe. So potatoes, when you're making fondant, you can cut round ones, you can cut square ones, you can cut triangle ones. It's up to you. We just decided to go with the batten style. So we want to give our plate some height and just give it a good contrast. So it will be another 3 minutes. I think our mushies are done now, so I'll take the pickling liquid that I used earlier, and then I will just take our little tweezers and just pop them in there and just kind of get them on the pickling stage of halfway. We don't want them to be too pickled. It's just to add a little bit of flavor to your plate. I think that is enough. I think I'll just put about that much in there, and then we will continue. So earlier on, we made a spiced carrot mash. We've done it in our piping bag. So I will just kind of roughly go through how we kind of made it. We took some raw carrots, peeled them. You can peel them, you don't have to peel them. Just cut the ends off where the root grows out. And then you kind of slice them up roughly, put them in a roasting tray, put some salt, pepper, and then I said spice. So whole cloves, whole cinnamon, whole garlic, as well as star anise. And these are nice flavors when they are roasting in the carrots. So you put all those ingredients into the pan, or as you know, your bain-marie, cover it with foil, put it in the oven at about 160 degrees for about an hour, and all those flavors will infuse. So Salim, do you want to explain to them after it's roasted, what did you do with the carrots?
What I did with the carrots, you have to check if it is well cooked. It has to be very, very soft so that you can blend it over. So I had to boil it a bit so that it can become very soft. Then I have to blend it to a fine puree and adjust the seasoning, salt, and a bit of pepper.
Yeah, just remember guys, always check your seasoning because it's very vital to every single recipe that you make. Right, so those potatoes I reckon are almost there, Salim. Yeah, so I think in about another 30 to 40 seconds he'll pull those off, and then he will just pop them into our mushroom dust. So basically we just took mushrooms. You can take variety of mushrooms and you can dry them out in the oven on 80 degrees for 24 hours. That is how pretty much most of dusts are made. When you hear on a menu an olive dust, a mushroom dust, this is how they are made. They are actually just raw material, like a nice fresh mushroom, cut up, put on a tray, put in the oven on 80 degrees, 24 hours, and you come back the next day and it is kind of hard. It's like dehydrated. So now you will take it and you'll blend it. And then you'll come up with this kind of powdery dust, which brings flavor to your dish. So Salim, if you can. So you just pop them in there, kind of shake them around, just to get everything coated. So we'll just swirl them in the dust. Salim, if you can, just kind of turn them there. So what we'll do while he's doing that, we'll just remove this and bring this plate in. So I was talking about plates earlier on. So you can use any plate you like. Like I said, in Pango, we use our black plates because it brings the color. So our potatoes are done. Perfect. We'll just pop our sauce back on the heat quickly, just to kind of get it warm. And we'll move on to the plating. So, like I said, with plating, you can bring textures to your plate. We've decided to bring two kind of textures here. Nice crispy carrots and what we call crispy leeks. And then we've done some radishes, and this is a daikon radish, and this is just what we call a normal red radish that we locally grow here. So our sauce is ready, Salim. I think we can go ahead. So as I was saying earlier on, there's a technique to do that you want to get that fine dining look. So you get your spoon and you kind of decide where you want to put this swish, as I said earlier. So you will pour a kind of pile of sauce. For me, I will do 2. Right? So you've got a nice kind of circle motion here. You take your spoon. I think that spoon I will change. So it's very important to have your utensils around, because these are your key things that you need to get your job done. So you will take your hand like this, take the back of the spoon, and you will put your back of your spoon on the sauce and just put it in and turn it like that. So already that is established as a swoosh. You can do other techniques where we get things like a spatula, which is quite small, and you can just put the paste and then paste it and you get that nice straight line. There's many techniques, but as we get along with the show, we'll keep showing you more and more techniques. So Salim, what do you reckon? Should we put these fondants on there?
Yeah.
Right, Salim will put that on. I'll bring over the textures, our leeks and our carrots and our mushies. And then our nice carrot puree. So normally you can put 2 or 3 or 4, however you feel. So now, like I said before, be creative. You know, think about your plate and just go with the feel. So I will put some carrot puree here, one over here, one over here, and one in the center. Right, as you can see, our plate is coming along nicely. So what we'll do, if you can pass me the tweezers, thank you, sir. So those pickled mushrooms are now in there, and they're nice and pickled. Just shake the excess off. So now you can place your mushrooms anywhere you like on your plate. Depends how you feel. I reckon 4 is enough. That's how I feel about it. Right. So I think our beef fillet is pretty much almost there. So we will just continue adding the finer detail. So I was saying microgreens earlier, and we've got these beautiful beetroots that grown locally, right? So you can just pick nice, beautiful, small pieces. For me, I will showcase them on my mushrooms, so I'll need 4 beautiful pieces. You can also bring some green, because they come in some green colors. They're quite funky when they purple and green, you know. So I reckon we'll do 2 green and 2 purple. So with these, you can just kind of slip them anywhere you like, just close to your mushies, just to kind of give some more contrast to your plate. one on there. So already you can see the dish is coming along. So now we can move on further. We just take our little tweezers, just give them a bit of a wipe. And then I was saying bringing some more texture to the plate. So you can take these little guys and just pop them wherever you like. And the nice thing is, you know, they're nice and long. You can do short ones, long ones. You can lean them over there. You can put one over here. Okay. Not too many, you don't want to overflow your plate. Go from there. So, Salim, our beef is ready, right?
Yeah.
Right, so he'll bring it over to the chopping board and he will cut it for us in half because we want to kind of see the color of the beef. What we'll also do is we'll also have a cloth ready for us here. And what we want to do, you can just put it on here, Salim, is when we cut the beef, always blood will come through. So it becomes a big problem in the fine dining industry where you don't want the blood to kind of ooze out into your dish. So before you plate it, put it on a nice cloth and get all the blood out. Right? It looks beautiful, nice and medium rare, I reckon. But this is a perfect cut. So you just want to tap it nice and light. Just keep it, and there we go. So now, like I said, be creative. So I will put my one piece of beef here, right? And the other one just to flow after it, because we want our plate to flow this way. All right, so now we've got our crispy leeks that we've got left. And then we've also got what we grow in our gardens here in the Fairview is our nasturtium leaf. Comes with a beautiful flower as well, it's golden in color. These are great to put on your plate as well, which we will put on just as we finish our dish off. So they come in different sizes. Generally, I prefer smaller ones, yeah? Right, so we've got our two pieces there. Now, we'll just take our sauce quickly and just warm it up slightly again because we just want to finish our beef off with a bit of sauce. Because there's nothing like a good dollop of sauce on your beef. Right, that's warm enough. So you just take your spoon, not too much, just a light kind of line, just like that. Take that, and then we had our little radishes and stuff. So you can see the plate's really coming along. So just to bring kind of freshness to the plate, you pop these guys in amongst just one or two. Okay. And then you finish your dish off with some crispy fried leeks that you can put on your beef. And then you can take your nasturtium, pop it in there on top. And voila, there you guys. There you have it, guys. Fine dining beef. It's done on porcini creme, dusted fondant potatoes in mushroom with your spiced carrot mash and some beautiful texture. Welcome back, guys. So we're on the last stretch of the 3-course fine dining plating. So I've got Lucas here, the head pastry chef, that will kind of showcase and show you different techniques and styles of plating your fine dining dessert. So those who are out there becoming up-and-coming young pastry chefs, this is the man to talk to because he has got the skills and the techniques to show you how to make it tip-top. Lucas?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure actually joining you to showcase what actually is involved in fine dining plating. Actually, it's always combination of activities. It starts all the way from the oven, but it ends up on the plate.
That's correct.
But always lots of concentration and artistic approach to anything we are doing in pastry. Now for today, we are plating chocolate decadent cake or mousse, and this is kind of a rich, it is kind of you indulge yourself when having this kind of a dessert. I like it personally because the combination of the ingredients on the plate is actually something to dine for, to look forward for. That's fine dining.
Yeah.
Fine dining is about experience. I want to go back to that same place and have that experience.
Yeah.
I want to take another person to that same place so that we experience the same experience. So now today, with Chef here, we gotta do something interesting.
So Lucas, maybe just share with our people out there that what we have here.
Oh, sure. Now, in front of me here, you can see I have quite a number of stuff.
Definitely. Delicious stuff.
And you can imagine only one plate involves all that. So doing one plate actually is kind of, you have to involve lots of things, eats and outs actually, which is very interesting. To me, it's quite a good challenge, which I enjoy, because before putting up something that goes to the table for the guests to enjoy, always there's that kind of, everything has to be done on the background. Now, I have this, that's meringue. You must know that meringue is just basically egg white, sugar, and color. Food color there. As in our case, you can see the colors there.
Beautiful colors.
Yep. I have this. This is chocolate ganache, a reduction of chocolate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Just a reduction of chocolate.
It flows nicely as well, Lucas.
Yeah, it doesn't lose, it's shiny. I have chocolate. Now this white chocolate melted. Now I melt it. It's supposed to be tempered actually, but if you are not in a position where you don't have a temperature, something to temper with, maybe a thermometer. So what you need to do is just use the water bath, just melt it slowly by slowly. You don't have to put it for a very long time. And you understand, chocolate with water, they are enemies. So what you need to do, we just melt it slowly by slowly, and then spread it over. Spread it over a dish of pepper, let it set, and cut the portions you want.
Yeah, and with fine dining, like I said to you before, in showcasing the other dishes, is that you can cut different shapes, sizes, think circles, think squares, think about outside, look at different shapes. He could even take this tempered top chocolate and kind of take a leaf from outside and then kind of smear it on that leaf and peel it off, and you've got a nice leaf kind of garnish as well.
That's what we call modern art, because modern art is never symmetrical. So what you do is kind of create shapes, it's, somebody, you try to juggle around with somebody's imagination. Yeah? Now, next is the twill, sort of. It's a brandy snap. We call it a brandy snap. You see, this is part of the mise en place just to deal with the plate. We are talking about, there are things you have to consider about doing a dessert on a plate. There has to be a taste. There has to be texture. There has to be color. There has to be height. There has to be crunch component of it. This is part of the crunch component of it.
Beautiful.
Yep. Now, we got chocolate soil here.
So this is basically like we were talking about outside. So we can make a tiramisu and put this as our topping just to make it look like real soil. But it's actually just chocolate that we get dehydrated with other components. So, Lucas, should we get going with the plating?
Get going with the plating. We want to make a garden out of this. So ideally, actually, when you're doing plating, you should bring out the dessert. When somebody looks at the plate, now they look at the plate, first the dessert has to come out. Or the whatever is on the plate has to come out. So what I do, I just create a background on the plate. Now this goes well in creating, if I'm using a white plate, this goes well in creating a background.
And you could see earlier we used black plates, but Lucas, he prefers his white plate for this particular dish because he felt that a black plate would just kind of not bring it up. So now he's decided to bring his white canvas and showcase this plated dessert.
This we call pastry corn. We use it for several purposes in pastry, but now today I'm using it for a different purpose now to create a background on my plate because I cannot leave my plate there.
Yeah.
I have to do something. So I use the chocolate ganache reduction, a little bit of that. Then, yeah, we got it.
Beautiful, Lucas.
Yeah. Now I've got my chocolate soil. This fine dining way. Okay, kind of. But this.
So you can see he's bringing texture to his plate. Nice crunchy.
Yeah.
And
Little
some
bit of
color.
color.
And you see the way he's plating, he's very relaxed about it. You know, he's not trying to put things in places
You
where...
have to do it just the ordinary way.
Correct.
In the way you feel comfortable. Now, so we got the plate here. Now, to anyone it might look just complete, all of us complete. But to me and the chef, it's not complete.
Correct.
Lots of other things to do. That's why you have such things like the coolage. Chef, this is passion fruit.
It's a passion fruit.
Yeah. I need to put it across to break the color too.
So you'll just put some dots here and there, just to kind of give more contrast to the plate.
Yep.
So maybe you want to just explain to the guys how the passion fruit was made.
This is, you just get enough passion fruit pulp. You just reduce it, you just boil it up with some sugar. You boil it up with some sugar and then you put agar-agar. Agar-agar is the kind that gives us the, it's because it's jelly, actually, sort of, so we use agar-agar.
Yeah, and agar-agar is like a
Yeah.
kind of powder that
Yeah,
kind of combines things together for us.
Yeah.
But later in the show, we'll get more into technique about these kind of products that we use in our recipes.
Because in most hotels, people are used to using gelatin. Now, gelatin is not good for making jellies. So we prefer using agar-agar. And so in more coming...
Episodes,
Yes.
we'll show you.
Exactly.
Right, please carry on, Lucas.
Okay, now, it's kind of a garden, if you can see it. So I'd like to put a few flowers, maybe. This is good now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So it's kind of a garden. So a little bit of flowers. Yeah. I just want it to appear like kind of a garden or something. Something like that.
That's beautiful, Lucas. You know, I think the way you're showcasing it.
Yeah. Shall we use this?
Yeah, definitely. Bring these in. So, I was just saying to Lucas earlier on that every plate that we do, it doesn't just have to have a flower or a mint leaf. You guys can also play around with these fantastic basil leaves. Now, these ones are got the funky green with a bit of purple in. So we can also bring those in and just kind of put them on our little passion fruit coulis. And that just kind of brings some more contrast to your plate.
So the idea is actually we want to bring that contrast. When you're taking the dessert itself, so you get that combination of flavors and colors.
Yeah, definitely.
We are yet to go there now for the dessert. Now we have this. That's a tulip or a twig. So it acts to bring on the plate the heat and the crunch component to go alongside with the chocolate soil. So I just place it there.
It looks great for me,
Yeah.
It really has lifted the plate, Lucas,
Exactly.
and it
Now,
just kind of...
that interests you.
Yeah, definitely.
You get interested to look at the plate.
Yeah.
The dessert.
So basically, your tool mix, you just want to explain to the guys how you kind of made this recipe to
Yeah.
get it round so
Yeah.
they can understand.
Okay, the tulip basically is just flour, milk, egg, and sugar. So you just mix them all in one process. And you, like in this case now, you can see it's chocolate. So I added in cocoa powder to make it, because I'm dealing with the chocolate dessert, so I wanted it not to be plain, to include cocoa powder. Now, to make it round, so it goes 2 times in the oven. After the mix is running, the mix is really running, so you just spread it on the tray, and then put it in the oven for 3 minutes, 7 minutes, bring it out, cut the shapes you want, go back to the oven, bring it out, then fold it to the shapes you want.
So you would use like what, a rolling pin there?
Now, in this case, I used a rolling pin because we improvise what we have around.
Yeah.
You don't have to think so much. We use what you have around to create anything.
So he took a rolling pin and he took the tool, he cut it, and then he just kind of rolled it around there until it's set.
Yeah.
And that's how we got this shape. So should we continue to put our mousse on?
Yeah. Now, our dessert is a mousse. There are many ways of making a mousse, but there's a basic way, the classic way, where it's about egg whites, sugar, cream, and the flavor. But now things are coming different. People are not using sometimes eggs, people are using eggs. Well, it's a combination.
Yeah.
But this one is so basic. It's about cream. I have my sweet chocolate. I have my sugar. I have 2 egg yolks to make this dessert. What I do is put up sugar and egg yolk. I combine them together, then mixing into the cream. The cream has to be a little bit, not to a boiling point. You have to make sure it doesn't boil because the egg will cook definitely if it goes into the.
So kind of tempering it, yeah?
Tempering kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah. So benefits, you can see there's a sponge. If you could look properly, you see there's a sponge in there. The sponge is kind of light, very light. I call it sucker. Okay, sucker is associated with a certain person called France, and it's actually basically an Austrian sponge. Vienna there somewhere. Yeah.
So basically you decided to put your mousse on this
Yes.
particular sponge
Yes.
to bring some kind of texture.
Exactly.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah. Now we do the plate.
Beautiful.
It's not yet over.
Well, so far for me, I would eat it right now
Yeah,
because,
sure.
you know, but please continue.
Yeah. So we have this. This is what we call pastry cream. And we have this. We need to make use of it.
The chocolate you were talking about earlier,
And
eh?
we need to make use of this too.
As our brandy snap.
Yes.
Wow, Lucas, looks like you're going to showcase this dessert
yes.
to...
Now, so I just put the pastry cream.
So as you can see, he's piping nice dots because he now obviously wants to take his chocolate and brandy snap and layer it on.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. So I'm gonna do it differently because I want to create kind of, a sensation on the plate. I'm gonna do that.
You know, the way Lucas has done it is brilliant and beautiful. And like I was talking about crispy apples earlier, he decided to put his square brandy snap like that, which makes it look nice and chic. But now, I will just bring my 2 cents worth. I would just be roughly breaking it up, just kind of giving it a bit more of a shard look, and bringing that in to our garden.
Yeah, either way, it's the garden now. You just combine everything.
So it just kind of just brings a bit more contrast to the plate.
Because what we are doing actually, because the brandy snap, when it gets into contact with the cream part, it gets soft, and we want the crispness in it.
Yeah. So,
It looks good. Sure.
hey, it looks
Yeah.
brilliant, Lucas.
Yeah. So we turn on the plate.
I think that's brilliant, eh?
Yeah, I do.
So guys, basically we have here is our chocolate mousse with our beautiful garden, with our white chocolate disc, cream pat, and that is fine dining. Thank you guys, and that is it from us, and we will see you next time.